Right, I guess we're here for another interview with a fellow pop community member. With me is Snake, or I guess full name DevilSnake74. Which one do you prefer?
People, I have a lot of different names. Like I have just Devil, just Snake, Devil Snake, or yes, I guess. I
Just
have many different
74.
names, but yeah, not that wasn't the case yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes the case soon.
Right, so you are famous in the community for running Sense of Time, I guess.
Yes.
Was it actually your first Prince of Persia game, or like what's your first memory related to Prince of Persia as a series? Like not speedrunning wise, but just the first casual experience.
Okay, so my first casual experience was I think when I was 6. Pretty much back in the day, my uncle burned me a CD of Sands of Time and just gave it to me, and I was like, well, thanks. And then 6-year-old me tried to play the game, and I played for like a minute, and I came to the part where you're supposed to wall for the first time, and I didn't know how to do it. So I had to ask my uncle how to wall first, and then, yeah. But 6-year-old me had really a lot of trouble playing the game because it just didn't understand all of the stuff and just didn't understand English at all back in the day. And
So it was
also,
an English copy at that.
yeah, it was an English copy.
Okay.
And I guess one of the big memories I remember from the game as well is how I struggled for probably weeks to beat that because I didn't know what to do in the fight. But then in the end, I realized that you have to kill all the enemies first and then at the end. But that was like,
Right.
Yeah.
So before we come to the speedrunning part, did you play any other Prince of Persia games before speedrunning became a thing for you, or like do you have what's your favorite Prince of Persia game casually, and out of which ones could you choose right here?
Casually, it would be Warrior Within for me. Well, I guess the reason is just because, I don't know, I like the story more than Sense of Time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like the darker, edgy theme it has, so I guess that's why I would choose Warrior Within. And also, I guess one thing is that I'm not really a fan of combat of SOT, where you're like forced to use dagger, and combat kind of feels a little bit more scuffed compared to Warrior Within, where Warrior Within is kind of more hack and slash God of War like, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
You had much more options like taking a secondary weapon and performing combos, while in SOT just like you have to bring an enemy down and then pick the enemy with the dagger.
Right.
And that's kind of, yeah, the whole thing.
Okay. So you're most familiar with the Sans trilogy, it appears. And that's also where speedrunning started for you? Question mark. So like how did you find out about pop speedrunning, and how did you start?
Well, I don't know why or for what reason. I just tried to look for speedruns in general, and I guess first thing that came to mind was Prince of Persia, and I googled Sands of Time speedruns or whatever, like back in maybe 2017. And first video that came out was Catalyst's any percent standard world record. Well, that was a world record at the time. And that's pretty much where it all started. I started watching that run, then I started watching Catalyst on Twitch. And pretty much after watching him for, I guess, a couple months, I wanted to start speedrunning myself. And I tried to speedrun or well learn any percent standard at first, but the category just didn't quite click with me. And I then tried to look for another game, which turned out to be the game the casual game I finished, like, I guess, the last at the time, which was Ratchet and Clank PS4. And that's pretty much my first speed game, and I ran it for quite a while until like mid 2020, I guess. And even though I wasn't really running actively, and then I switched to Scent of Time at some point. So I decided to run NMG category. I don't really remember the reason why, but I think that's because I was watching Smatlax a lot, because both of us were interacting in Kata's chat, and I guess with that interaction, we kind of met each other and became good friends. And I started watching Smet when he started speedrunning, and his first category was AC NMG, and I guess that's why I started with NMG first.
Okay. So you're also more on the less on the zipping side, more on the like movement ish side of the Sans trilogy. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm also gonna give Zipless a shot once I'm done with NMG, so yeah, I guess.
Okay. So, related to that, what's your, like, do you have a favorite technique or skip from Prince of Persia speedrunning? Either in a game you run or one, like a game you don't run but you love to see?
Uh, it's kind of hard to tell because mostly what fascinates me is movement. But yeah, I guess Zipless has a lot of cool tricks like launches, for example, that's used in Warrior Within and T2T.
Right, yeah.
Can I also think of something else? I don't think I can really think of anything else. I guess I first have to run Zipless to really have a favorite trick.
Right. I mean, answering like movement in general is also a valid thing. Like it's if done well, if executed properly, it can be very satisfying to watch. I agree on that.
Yeah, and just feels really satisfying in general. I
Awesome.
totally agree with that.
So, what's your favorite game or category to run now? Is it still NMG or like Sense of Time NMG, or do you prefer another game or category?
That would be, I would say T2T NMG because I only did a couple runs of it. Because I kind of wanted to. I think earlier this year I did a couple runs of TTMG and I really liked it, and I wanted to run it for longer, which I will do eventually. But I kind of switched back to a different game for some reason. I think that's because I was like closer to getting world record in like a Ratchet or something like that. That's why I kind of moved away from T2T. And then I came back to SOT. But so yeah, I'll kind of want to finish all the SOT stuff I have to do. Then I'll come back to T2T.
Well, I see. So maybe as a final-ish question, do you have a memory or memories related to pop speedrunning that you hold dear, that you, if you think back, you're like, oh, that was really cool or really fun? Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, that's mostly just having fun with the game, and by fun I mean random stuff happening in the game, which is I think everyone in pop community likes. I also like tons of races I did with people, especially with Yaka and Ferdy, because we raced a lot of SOT and MG last year, and this year we did a couple of races, but it would usually be completely different games. We would just kind of sit in voice chat and just race. That will
So
pretty
like
much be.
Yeah, like the community aspect overall.
Yeah, the interaction, the races and stuff, just sitting in voice chat and just chilling for a while. That's what I like.
Okay. Any other games you speedrun or communities you're active in, other than, I mean, you already mentioned Ratchet and Clank that you did in the past, but
Yeah,
anything else to
except
mention?
Ratchet and Pop. I did a couple speedruns of a game called X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was mostly, I guess, routed, and most of the strats were found by a guy who also, I think, had some tracks with pop community. I think their name was Viper Zone or
Oh,
Viper
Viper
Zone or
Zone,
something
the
like.
glitch hunter, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess they did most of the strat hunting for that game, and they did a segmented run a long time ago, and I just took most of the strats from that segmented run and found some new stuff myself, and I did a run of that game. And I also did I guess a speedrun of a game called Heavenly Sword, and the thing about that game is that the only strat that game has is actually found by Robbie, but I actually found out about that game because someone from Ratchet community just found the game, decided to do a speedrun of it, and it was just most likely just a casual playthrough because the game only has one strat, and just kind of a meme speedrun I only did like 2 runs of it, but yeah, that's pretty much everything I did a speedrun of, pretty much.
All right. So I think so we are close to the 10-minute mark. I hope the pop organizers, like glaring at the camera, have the next round prepared by now. So I say thanks a lot, Snake.
Yeah, thanks for having me as well.